Have you ever heard of a year so tumultuous, so utterly unprecedented, that the very leadership of one of the world's oldest institutions changed not once, not twice, but 3 times? It sounds like fiction, a dramatic historical novel, but it was very real. Welcome to 1978, a year that would etch itself into the annals of history as a period of profound upheaval and unexpected transitions within the Catholic Church. This was a year that defied all expectations. Prepare to journey back to a time when the sacred halls of the Vatican became a stage for an extraordinary drama. Buckle up, because we are about to dive into the papal chaos of 1978. The first pope. Stability shattered. As 1978 dawned, the world looked to Rome with a sense of familiar stability. The Catholic Church was under the steady hand of Pope Paul VI, a pontiff who had guided it through a period of immense change. He had overseen the implementation of the Second Vatican Council's reforms, navigating complex theological and social shifts. His papacy, though challenging, was marked by a predictable, consistent leadership. Pope Paul VI had reigned for 15 years, a long and impactful tenure. He was a figure of continuity, a bridge between tradition and modernity, and his presence was a constant in a rapidly changing world. Then, suddenly, the stability shattered. On August 6, 1978, Pope Paul VI passed away at the age of 80. The news sent ripples across the globe, marking the end of an era. His death was not entirely unexpected, given his age and recent health concerns, but it still left a profound void. The world, and especially the Catholic faithful, mourned the loss of their spiritual leader. The immediate question became, who would succeed him? The Church, still grappling with the aftermath of Vatican II, needed a new leader to guide its millions of adherents into an uncertain future. The cardinals of the Church were summoned to Rome, their sacred duty to elect the next successor to St. Peter. The weight of history and the future of the Church rested heavily upon their shoulders. The second pope. A brief, bright light. The atmosphere in Rome was thick with anticipation. Cardinals from every corner of the globe converged on the Vatican, their faces etched with solemnity and purpose. Whispers filled the ancient corridors. Inside the Sistine Chapel, the conclave began. The cardinals, bound by strict secrecy, deliberated, prayed, and cast their ballots, each vote a profound moment of spiritual discernment. The world watched, waiting for the telltale sign. Days passed, marked by plumes of black smoke signaling no decision had been reached. Then, on August 26th, a different color emerged. White smoke billowed from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, signaling to the anxious crowds in St. Peter's Square that a new pope had been elected. A collective gasp, then a roar erupted. The name announced was Albino Luciani, who chose the unprecedented double name of John Paul I. He was a departure from the perceived formality of previous pontiffs, a man of genuine warmth. He was different, immediately striking the world with his disarming smile and humble demeanor. He refused the traditional papal tiara, opting for a simpler mitre, a gesture that spoke volumes. John Paul I quickly became known as the Smiling Pope. His approachable style, his simple language, and his evident pastoral heart captivated both Catholics and non-Catholics alike. He spoke of humility, poverty, and the importance of love. His brief homilies were accessible and heartfelt, resonating deeply with ordinary people who felt an instant connection to him. He truly was a breath of fresh air, a beacon of hope and simplicity in a world often perceived as complex and cynical. The world instantly loved him, embracing his gentle spirit. His papacy promised a new era of openness and pastoral care. Many believed he would bring a much-needed sense of renewal and joy to the Church, building on the reforms of his predecessor. Shock and mystery. A sudden end. The world had barely begun to celebrate its new, smiling pontiff when an unimaginable shock struck. Just 33 days after his election, Pope John Paul I was found dead in his Vatican apartment. The news, announced on September 29th, sent shockwaves across the globe. It was an event so sudden, so unexpected, that it plunged the Vatican and the entire Catholic world into profound turmoil. Another shock, another mystery. How could a seemingly healthy man, full of vitality and hope, die so abruptly after such a short time in office? The questions began immediately. The official cause of death was reported as a heart attack. However, the lack of an autopsy, the swiftness of his burial, and conflicting accounts from Vatican officials fueled intense speculation. What truly happened in those early hours of September 29th? The circumstances surrounding his death became fertile ground for rumors, theories, and persistent unanswered questions. The Vatican, already reeling from the loss of 2 popes in such quick succession, found itself under an unprecedented spotlight. Its handling of the situation only deepened the public's unease. The world was stunned, grappling with the sudden loss of a pope who had, in little over a month, captured hearts globally. His brief papacy left an indelible mark, but also a lingering shadow of doubt. Conspiracy theories began to circulate almost immediately, suggesting foul play, poisoning, or a cover-up. These theories, though largely unsubstantiated, continue to persist to this day. The sudden end of John Paul I's papacy left a void not just in leadership, but in the collective psyche of the Church. It was a moment of profound uncertainty and deep sorrow. The cardinals were once again called to Rome, their task now even more daunting. The Church needed not just a leader, but a figure of immense strength and clarity to navigate this unprecedented crisis. The third pope. A legend rises. The cardinals convened again, this time under an even heavier cloud of expectation and anxiety. The stakes were higher than ever before, the pressure almost unbearable. The Church had endured 2 papal deaths in just over 2 months. It needed stability, strength, and a clear direction. The world watched, holding its breath, wondering who could possibly emerge. Who could unite a church shaken by such rapid succession and lingering questions? Who possessed the charisma, the intellect, and the spiritual fortitude to lead in such turbulent times? On October 16, 1978, white smoke once again rose from the Sistine Chapel. The name announced was Karol Wojtyla, the Archbishop of Krakow, Poland. He chose the name John Paul II. His election was revolutionary. He was the first non-Italian pope in 455 years, and the first ever from a Slavic country. This was a seismic shift in the Church's leadership. Enter John Paul II, a Polish pope, a man whose very existence was a symbol of resistance against the communist regime that oppressed his homeland. He was strong, charismatic, and deeply spiritual. His background as a philosopher, actor, and survivor of both Nazi and communist oppression gave him a unique perspective and an unshakable resolve. He was a man of immense intellect and profound faith. He would face down communism, becoming a pivotal figure in the eventual collapse of the Iron Curtain. His visits to Poland galvanized the Solidarity movement and inspired millions. John Paul II would travel the world more extensively than any pope before him, connecting with people from all cultures and faiths. He became a global icon, a moral voice on the international stage. His papacy, which would last for over 26 years, was one of the longest and most impactful in history. He became a legend in his own time, shaping the Church and the world for decades. He championed human rights, religious freedom, and the dignity of every person. His teachings and his tireless efforts left an indelible mark on the 20th century and beyond. His election, born out of the chaos of 1978, proved to be a turning point, ushering in an era of dynamic leadership and global engagement for the Catholic Church. Why such rapid succession? What secrets did 1978 truly hold within the ancient walls of the Vatican? The year remains a fascinating, perplexing chapter in papal history. The events of that year forced the Church to confront its own vulnerabilities and the immense weight of its traditions. It was a period of intense scrutiny and profound introspection. The death of John Paul I remains one of the most debated and mysterious events in modern papal history. The official narrative has never fully satisfied all questions. Conspiracy theories persist, fueled by inconsistencies and the sheer improbability of 2 popes dying within such a short span. Books, documentaries, and articles continue to explore the enigma. Was it simply a tragic coincidence? Or was there something more sinister at play? The lack of transparency at the time only served to deepen the mystery and fuel public imagination. Regardless of the truth behind John Paul I's death, the year 1978 undeniably changed the Church forever. It was a turning point, a crucible of drama, and an enduring mystery. It demonstrated the resilience of the institution, but also exposed its human frailties and the intense pressures inherent in its leadership. The world watched, captivated, and concerned. The legacy of 1978 is multifaceted. The quiet humility of John Paul I, the global impact of John Paul II, and the lingering questions surrounding the sudden end of the smiling Pope. This extraordinary year serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly history can turn and how profound events can shape the course of institutions and the lives of millions. The Year of Three Popes is more than just a historical footnote. It is a compelling narrative of faith, power, mystery, and the enduring human drama played out on the world stage. If this caught your attention, the next video uncovers the events that changed everything. Watch it now to complete the timeline. Don't miss it for anything. Only be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more mysteries like this beyond known.